Hi, and welcome to Reflections of You, where we create cards to spread joy to others, as well as other projects. Today, we're going to tackle our first Valentine's Day card of the year, and this one is Sending Love. So let's get started. We are going to make our envelope red. We're going to put an 8.5 by 11 cardstock into the Tim Holtz trimmer, and you'll see the perfect mark at 5.5, and we'll cut that at 5.5. And I'm just going to move this up here and cut it at 5.5. So we'll have a square that's 5.5 by 5.5. Then we want to have a liner for the envelope. So we'll stick this 6 by 6 paper in here and cut that down to 5.5 by 5.5. And you can line each card with a different color paper. We will get out our We Are Memory punch board to make a 3 by 3 envelope. We will put in our cardstock at 2 3/4 and punch it, and then we will use our bone folder to score it on the A line. And we will continue to do this as we rotate. So 2 3/4 punch and then score on the A line of the board. What I really like about this process is that we can create whatever color envelope will look good with our pattern paper that's going to line the card. So you can match that up and personalize it for the recipient, and each one of your Valentine's Day cards can be different. We will put in our pattern paper that's also been cut at 5.5 by 5.5. We will punch it at 2 3/4 and score it on the A line, and we will continue to do this. So just think of all the wonderful possibilities that we have for the cards that we are going to create. And here is a close-up of that 2 3/4 that we're putting that paper in to punch it, and then we will score it on that A line. At the top of the We Are Memory punch board, we're going to take one side and slide it in and punch it so we get a curved effect, and we will do that on the pattern paper too, because this just gives the envelope a different look on one of the sides. So you can see it gives that curved look. Now we'll take our We Are Memories board away, clean away the paper, and we are going to adhere down our 2 pieces of envelope. I'm going to use Gina K Connect glue because this glue gives me some wiggle room, and we need to be able to wiggle the paper to get it in place. And I got this new glue holder. I'm trying to remember to use it, but that's not always the case. Now, when we put this down, you're going to wiggle it and try to get it in there pretty close. Now, you will probably not be perfect at doing this, and do not be upset. Get it as close as possible. I'll show you a little trick later to make it look better if something overhangs. But we'll just press that down and set it to the side. To make our hearts, I used a variety of punches, but you could also use any kind of dies that you have, or punch stamp hearts and cut them out, whatever you can use. And I just put all my hearts in this little tray that I'm going to use to make the card. And I may not use all the hearts, but at least I have them set to the side. We will put our Slimline card into our Misty. I like the Misty because it helps me make good impressions if I don't do it the second time. I have an old stamp set here from Honeybee Stamps, and I'm pulling the word Sending Love. You can use any stamp set that you want. You could put Happy Valentine's Day, I love you at the top. Just look around at your sentiments, and see what you can use. We'll use our embossing buddy and we'll get that down. Do not worry that this is all over the place, that's fine. We want to use our Versamark ink because that is going to hold our embossing powder, but we really want to put a lot down so that we get a very good impression when we go to stamp this. And if you need to know how to cut a slimline card, just check out the video linked below, and we'll get a good impression with this puck, and when we open it up, it's just absolutely beautiful. We will remove our slimline card out of our MISTI, and we are going to use some detailed white embossing powder. Now, if you did this on a red cardstock for the slimline paper and you had Happy Valentine's Day or Sending Love, you could also do this in red. So just really think out the box. Now, do not worry if you have a little bit of stray left behind. I'm going to show you a super quick tip to get away that embossing powder. We're going to use a little paintbrush and be very, very careful to wipe away some of that embossing powder. And do not worry if you do not get all the embossing powder off. The good thing is we're going to be covering this with hearts, and so it can easily be covered up. So don't feel you have to start all over, and be careful not to wipe away your words. Now I have a little embossing station that I've gone over to. I like that to be away from where I work. And I am just going to heat set this, and it's going to take a few minutes. But if you don't want to emboss your sentiment, that's fine. That can be a little intimidating. You can always use colored ink if you want to. You know, just think about what you'd like. You could even put a tag at the top that you've stamped saying Sending Love. Lots of things can be done. My trick for removing the chalk from the card is get your microfiber cloth and wipe that away, and it looks beautiful. And if you have a few speckles, don't worry. That's what we have hearts for on this card. And I have, pre-cut those hearts. We're going to get out our envelope and we're going to start folding. Now, I highly recommend that you fold this over. It's very thick. You're going to need your bone folder to really press down those edges. And then, because it is so thick, I am going to use score tape to adhere it down. And you don't have to use a lot of score tape. We're just going to kind of put it in the middle to adhere it down. And you'll find that it adheres down well, and I just use my bone folder again to just press that down once again. Now, here's the trick. When it didn't line up, we just get out our little scissors and we cut along the edge. And then no one will know the paper didn't exactly line up for our liner in our envelope. And you can just go all the way around taking care of these matters, because when it comes to crafting, we don't have to be perfect. No crafter is perfect. The professionals mess up too. So again, we'll go ahead and do this side, and we will adhere that down also with some score tape. I think what I like about crafts too is it is forgiving. Each little card that we make or object that we make is special. No one else can make it. Every little thing about it's different. Yes, we can case a card that is made by somebody else, but again, that card is going to turn out different. Now, I have a little spot there, but we're not going to worry about it. I'm going to cover that up with a heart. So just use your imagination when you're making your cards and don't give up. That's the part where everyone wants to give up. Now, I want to position this on the bottom of my card, and because it is heavy, I want to go ahead and use score tape instead of the other glue. So when we go to put this down, We want to make sure that we get it in the right position to start with. One of the things that score tape and I struggle with, especially after I've cut my nails, is getting off the white wrapping. I know that I could use a tool to remove it, but I'm lazy and I just want to use my fingers and keep going, but you'll see that I struggle a bit. Now we want to be careful when placing our envelope down, and I want to accent the point of the envelope. So you can play with your different colors and determine what you would like to place there. I'm going to place the silver because I love the look that it gives, and I'm going to randomly decorate this envelope with your hearts. And you want to put them in all sorts of different directions, and you can adhere them down with glue. My Gina K the glue has gotten stuck and not much is coming out. So one of the tips that I will give you for that is that I bought some push pins at Hobby Lobby, and I use the push pins to just stick down into the glue bottle to just give it a little help when it dries up really quick when I'm using it. And I'll just continue to decorate the front of this card, putting hearts in different areas. And that's the fun part. You can decide what color hearts you want and where you want them. I have chosen red, pink, craft color cardstock and silver cardstock. I'm also going to use some pop-up dots and cut those, put them on the back of some of the hearts to lift them up, and I will tuck other hearts underneath just to give it a little bit of dimension. But you do you in creating the card and giving that to others to spread joy. Another way you can elevate your card is by putting on rhinestones. And if you're sending this to a man, maybe you don't want to put on the rhinestones, but that just gives it a little bit of flair. I hope that you find inspiration in this card. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I hope that you're able to find inspiration to spread joy and happiness to others. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.